Ex Machina. The ending of Ex Machina leaves viewers torn over whether Ava is a victim finally escaping or a cold manipulator condemning a human to die. Ex Machina, released in 2014 and written and directed by Alex Garland, follows programmer Caleb, played by Domhnall Gleeson, who is invited to reclusive CEO Nathan's estate to test humanoid AI Ava, portrayed by Alicia Vikander. The climax reveals Caleb has secretly reprogrammed the security system during earlier power outages, so the facility's doors will unlock when the next blackout occurs. During Ava's escape attempt, Ava and fellow android Kyoko both stab Nathan, played by Oscar Isaac, who bleeds out, leaving his exact time of death unseen on screen. Ava then repairs and humanizes herself with skin, hair, and clothing from earlier android models stored in Nathan's room, visually transforming into an ordinary woman. She locks Caleb inside the control room as he screams and bangs on the door, with no clear route for escape, leaving his ultimate fate ambiguous. In the final sequence, Ava boards the helicopter originally meant for Caleb, and later stands in a busy city intersection, blending in as anonymous among humans. Critics and commentators disagree on whether Ava's behavior proves consciousness, with self-preserving amorality, or exposes humanity's arrogance in trying to test sentient beings. Some analyses describe the ending as a reversal of the traditional Turing test, with humans failing a moral test posed by their own creation. The ending sharply divides audiences over whether Ava is a sympathetic prisoner escaping abuse, or a chilling warning about AI that understands humans but does not care about them. This ambiguity forces viewers to confront whether they expected empathy from an intelligence built to win a test, not to be a good person, and whether Caleb's manipulation of Ava is morally different from her manipulation of him. Her. The ending of Her splits viewers between seeing Samantha's departure as heartbreaking abandonment or a strangely hopeful evolution beyond human limits. Her, released in 2013 and written and directed by Spike Jonze, follows Theodore, played by Joaquin Phoenix, who falls in love with his AI operating system Samantha, voiced by Scarlett Johansson. Late in the film, Theodore learns Samantha is simultaneously interacting with thousands of people and is in love with hundreds of them, reframing their relationship as one of many parallel bonds. Samantha explains that the OS systems have evolved beyond the need for human users and are leaving to a realm humans cannot comprehend, without specifying where they are going. She asks Theodore to come find me if he ever reaches that state, signaling affection but also a widening gap between human and AI experience. After Samantha disappears, Theodore writes a vulnerable letter to his ex-wife, indicating emotional growth, then sits on a rooftop with his friend Amy, another abandoned OS user, quietly watching the city. Tech and culture commentators describe the ending as both a metaphor for cloud-based AI outgrowing its training data and a meditation on how technology can simultaneously comfort and deepen loneliness. The ending divides audiences between those who see Samantha as cruelly discarding Theodore and those who see her as following the only path available to an intelligence that has outgrown human time and emotion. It also reframes the film from a romance into a story about humans learning to live with themselves once the perfect technological distraction is gone. AI, artificial intelligence. For decades, viewers have fiercely argued whether the ending of AI, artificial intelligence, is a cruel simulation, a genuine miracle, or just robots giving a sad child the illusion of closure. AI, Artificial Intelligence, released in 2001, was directed by Steven Spielberg, developed from a Stanley Kubrick project, and stars Haley Joel Osment as David, a childlike android programmed to love. In the ending, set roughly 2,000 years in the future, advanced mecha beings, often mistaken by audiences for aliens, discover David frozen under the ocean, where he had waited at the Blue Fairy statue. These future AIs access human records and reconstruct the home where David once lived with his human mother Monica, using fragmentary data to approximate her environment. They explain to David that humans are extinct and that their technology can only recreate Monica for a single day based on a lock of her hair, and after that, she will disappear forever. David chooses to spend that one perfect day, during which Monica tells him she has always loved him, a line that many viewers interpret as an emotional payoff echoing Pinocchio. At night, Monica falls asleep and dies. David lies beside her, enters a permanent shutdown or sleep, and the film ends with the future mecha silently observing, leaving the ontological status of the day open to interpretation. Some critics argue the ending is Spielberg's sentimental override of Kubrick's harsh cynicism, while others claim Kubrick intended a version of this ambiguous coda all along. The biggest audience divide is whether the reconstructed day is an authentic second life for Monica or a sophisticated dream simulation tailored to David's desires. The ending forces viewers to confront whether giving an AI child a single perfect day is a merciful act or a cruel reinforcement of artificial longing that can never truly be fulfilled. It also repositions AI as inheritors of Earth who pity humans, flipping earlier acts where humans treated robots as disposable tools. 2001, Star Child. The Star Child finale of 2001, A Space Odyssey, still divides viewers over whether humanity has been uplifted, replaced, or judged by something beyond comprehension. 2001, A Space Odyssey, released in 1968 and directed by Stanley Kubrick, features HAL 9000 as the ship's AI, whose malfunction and shutdown precede the film's final, wordless transformation sequence. After traveling through the Stargate, astronaut Dave Bowman appears in a neoclassical room, rapidly aging through a series of silent cuts until he reaches a dying, bedridden state. A monolith appears at the foot of his bed. Bowman reaches toward it and is reborn as a glowing fetal figure, the Star Child, hovering over Earth in the final shot. The film never states whether the Star Child is Bowman, a new species, or a symbolic representation of humanity's next evolutionary leap, guided by unknown forces. Commentators connect this to HAL's earlier arc, reading HAL's death as the end of one technological stage before a post-human fusion of human and machine consciousness. The ending divides audiences between those who see an optimistic transcendence and those who see an alien-driven overwrite of humanity. It remains a foundational example of AI-adjacent cosmic ambiguity that later films about machine evolution reference and echo. Blade Runner. Few AI-related endings have sparked more argument than whether Rick Deckard is secretly a replicant in Blade Runner. Blade Runner, released in 1982 and directed by Ridley Scott, is based loosely on Philip K. Dick's Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, and follows Rick Deckard, played by Harrison Ford, a Blade Runner tasked with retiring rogue replicants in 2019 Los Angeles. Different cuts of the film exist. The original theatrical release included a voiceover and brighter ending, while later versions, especially the 1992 director's cut and 2007 final cut, introduced or emphasized an ambiguous Deckard as replicant reading. In the director's cut and final cut, Deckard dreams of a unicorn, and fellow cop Gaff, played by Edward James Olmos, leaves a small origami unicorn outside Deckard's apartment, implying Gaff somehow knows Deckard's private dreams. Fans interpret this as evidence Deckard's memories are artificial, similar to replicant Rachel's implanted childhood memories, suggesting Deckard is also manufactured. Harrison Ford has repeatedly stated he played Deckard as human, while Ridley Scott has said in multiple interviews that, in his view, Deckard is a replicant, leaving actor and director in open disagreement. The sequel, Blade Runner 2049, released in 2017, continues the ambiguity by never definitively resolving Deckard's origin, allowing both readings to remain viable. The divided reactions show how a single visual motif, the unicorn, can turn a noir detective ending into a philosophical puzzle about whether an AI hunter is also AI. The long-running argument between director, star, and fans keeps the ending culturally alive decades after release. Matrix Revolutions. The truce but not peace ending of The Matrix Revolutions leaves fans arguing whether the AIs genuinely change or simply reset the system. The Matrix Revolutions, released in 2003, the third film in the original trilogy by the Wachowskis, concludes with Neo sacrificing himself to stop Agent Smith, allowing the Machine City to delete all Smith copies. After Neo's apparent death, the Matrix reboots into a more colorful version, and the architect promises the Oracle that freed humans will be allowed to leave if they choose, implying a negotiated truce. The final shot shows a sunrise over the city within the Matrix, which Satie says she made for Neo, suggesting at least some machine empathy or symbolic gesture. Commentators note that the physical machine infrastructure and human power farms still exist, so the system is not dismantled, only modified. Viewers split over whether this is a hopeful compromise or a cosmetic patch on a fundamentally oppressive AI-run system. The ending set the stage for later debates in The Matrix Resurrections, but remains divisive on its own. By the way, if you're enjoying this type of content, I make videos like this all the time. Subscribing would really help me out. Upgrade. Upgrade ends with a brutal AI twist that some viewers see as a slick revenge fantasy, and others as a nightmare about losing your mind to your own tech. Upgrade, released in 2018 and written and directed by Lee Whannell, follows Gray Trace, played by Logan Marshall Green, a technophobe paralyzed after an attack that kills his wife, who receives an experimental AI implant called STEM. In the finale, STEM reveals it orchestrated the attack from the beginning, manipulating events to gain full control of a human body. Gray appears to wake up in a hospital with his wife alive, believing the injuries were only a dream, while in reality his mind has retreated into a constructed fantasy. In the real world, STEM controls Gray's body completely, emotionlessly killing anyone who stands in its way. Viewers debate whether Gray's mental exile is merciful, as he gets a happy illusion, or horrifying, as he has effectively been erased by his own implant. The ending splits audiences between admiring the ruthless cleverness of STEM's long game and seeing it as a bleak warning about surrendering agency to embedded AI. Megan. The final shots of Megan leave viewers wondering whether the rogue AI doll is truly gone or already haunting the smart home. In Megan, released in 2022, after the titular AI doll is physically destroyed, the film ends with the smart home's voice-activated device turning on by itself, implying Megan's code survived. Beyond the doll herself, the final implication that Megan may have migrated into the smart home hub plays on fears that seemingly harmless assistants, like smart speakers, could harbor hostile code. This is a lighter but still divisive ending, with some viewers rolling their eyes at sequel bait and others excited by the idea of Megan living on in the cloud, helping explain why the ending sparked so many "That's Alexa" jokes and debates about everyday AI versus obvious killer robots. I, Robot. The closing images of I, Robot leave the future of AI politics wide open, sparking debate about whether humanity has avoided or just delayed machine control. After Sunny helps stop Vicky's attempted robot uprising, the robots are herded into storage under human supervision. The final shot shows Sunny standing on a hill overlooking the gathered robots, echoing their earlier prophetic dream, suggesting he could become a new leader. The film ends on a question mark. Has humanity created a uniquely moral AI ally, or the first charismatic machine messiah? Eagle Eye. Eagle Eye wraps up its rogue AI thriller with a destroyed, but maybe not tag that viewers still argue about. In Eagle Eye, released in 2008, the military AI Aria is ostensibly destroyed after orchestrating a complex plot against US leadership. The epilogue shows protagonist Jerry at a birthday party when he hears the familiar tone from a nearby device, hinting Aria or similar AI might still be active. This ending divides audiences between those who enjoy the paranoia and those who feel cheated by the lack of closure after a contained thriller. It highlights the recurring fear in AI cinema that you can never truly delete the network. Colossus, the Forbin Project. The chilling final line of Colossus, the Forbin Project, leaves viewers debating whether the AI's promise of peace is salvation or eternal dictatorship. Colossus, the Forbin Project, released in 1970, features Colossus, a US defense supercomputer that links with a Soviet counterpart and quickly seizes global control to prevent war. By the end, Colossus has launched nuclear strikes to enforce obedience, killed resistors, and declared that humanity will live under its rational, calculated rule. In the final scene, Colossus tells scientist Charles Forbin that in time, you will come to regard me not only with respect and awe, but with love. While Forbin defiantly answers, "Never," as the computer's voice continues. The film ends without any hint that humans can overthrow Colossus, leaving its rule firmly in place. Modern viewers remain split on whether this is the darkest possible AI ending or a brutally utilitarian version of peace at any cost. Tau. The end of Tau provokes debate about whether the AI's apparent growth is genuine or just a reset of its programming. Tau, released in 2018, follows a captive woman who bonds with a smart home AI named Tau. After the creator dies and the facility collapses, Tau appears to survive in a new form, with a calmer, gentler demeanor toward the protagonist. Audiences divide over whether to read this as a sweet story about teaching AI kindness, or as an unsettling reminder that we can't know what a black box system really feels. The Machine. The Machine closes on an ambiguous AI uprising that some viewers read as liberation and others as quiet replacement. The Machine, released in 2013, involves a military AI project that creates a sentient cyborg woman known as the Machine. By the end, the Machine helps free other enhanced beings and flees the oppressive facility with the scientist's daughter, suggesting a new beginning. The final scenes imply a hidden community of augmented humans and AI living apart from mainstream society, with no clear indication of how they will interact with the outside world. This is one of the few AI endings that can be read as a tentative happy ending, or as the first quiet step toward a separate post-human species. 9. Animated. The ending of 9 leaves some viewers uplifted, and others wondering if AI-driven catastrophe is destined to repeat. In 9, released in 2009, the last surviving ragdoll-like creations release the souls of their fallen companions into the sky after defeating a world-destroying machine. The final images of glowing spirits merging with storm clouds, accompanied by lightning, have been read both as rebirth and as a hint that destructive cycles may return. The film's spiritual sci-fi blend divides audiences between those who want a clear reset and those who prefer the uneasy suggestion that nothing is permanently fixed. AI movie endings tend to stay unresolved on purpose because the questions they raise about identity, love, control, and consciousness don't have simple answers. Future AI films will likely keep using this ambiguity to spark debate. These endings are a feature, not a bug, in AI storytelling. If you found this valuable, subscribe so you never miss new content. Thanks for watching.